Hey, what's up, party people? Sorry, let me widen this up. Hey, what's going on? Behind me, what I have here, well, let me show you right here. There's a 1999 Ford Taurus, and customers requesting head gasket replacement. But what they're saying is they've had a misfire in cylinder number 1, and pulling some engine codes here. And right here we have 3 codes. So you can see this. PO 125, insufficient coolant temperature or closed loop fuel control. Temperature, it says coolant temperature, it's not getting hot enough. A PO 430, so catalyst system efficiency below threshold. It's probably a bad catalytic converter. And a PO 301, which is cylinder number 1 misfire detected. Alright, so go out here. To do this head gasket job, if we're going to do this, first thing we got to do is rotate the number 1 cylinder right here, which is this, and get it to top dead center compression. So what I'm going to do is take out this spark plug, take out this wire, put a little piece of toilet paper, which we have here, down in there, and I'm going to rotate the crankshaft, which is right down there, and until the toilet paper pops up. And then I'll stick like a screwdriver in here, and when it gets to the top and it starts to go back down, that is cylinder number 1. After we do that, get on number 1 compression stroke. What we're going to do is drain the coolant and disconnect the negative battery terminal. Then you're going to take off this intake, take off the upper intake manifold, and we'll take out all the spark plug wires. We're going to label them, and also the fuel rail and fuel injectors. They should come out as an assembly with the lower intake manifold, and then we'll take off our valve covers, everything, cylinder head bolts. Probably gonna have to remove some other components, like the power steering pump, the generator or alternator, drive belt, things of that nature. And to get to the cylinder head, also you gotta have to take off the exhaust manifold on both sides, front and back. So anyway, let's get started. Okay, what I've done is I have rotated the crankshaft, which is a 21 millimeter, and what I did is I removed this number 1 spark plug, which is right here. It's kind of black, smells a little like fuel, maybe coolant and oil, a little bit of all of that. But if you look down in here, there's a hole, and what I did is I put a little piece of toilet paper down in there, and there it is, and it shot out. And then what I did is I stuck a screwdriver down in the top of there, kind of leaned it down a little bit, and then I reached down here on the side and grabbed my with one hand holding here and the other hand holding this screwdriver. When it got to the top and it almost started going back down again, that's how I know it was at top dead center compression. So now what we're going to do is remove this intake, get all this disconnected, and get this intake manifold off, get these valve covers off, drain the coolant, and just noting the routing of some of these components. Here's your spark plug wires. Alright, let's see, catch up with you and see on what I've done so far. Took the drive belt off. Well, you can do that by putting a 15 millimeter on this tensioner right here, and right there, that 15 millimeter right there, that's the tensioner. This is where the alternator used to be. I have taken that off also. This right here is a 15, this right here was a 13. Just disconnect these wires, and this is a 10 millimeter for your starter wire. I'm sorry, your ignition cable. This, just turn it clockwise to release tension on the tensioner. You can pull that belt off. Took the alternator out. Had to remove this clip back a little bit to get this bolt out because it was hitting right here. Also went along the fuel rail and for your injectors and stuff, and took these are 9mm. These are all 13s. These studs are also 13s, so you got to take this off, or you can just, hit the bottom one. All of these, this, and your intake manifold right here, about ready to come up. Took these two 10mm bolts out of the back of the EGR right here. Took this 10mm off right here. That was supporting that. These lines right here. One is a little bit longer, and that goes to the one in the back. Shorter one goes here. This green one hooks up here. Let's see. And this plugs in right here. But that all goes right here. Alright. Then disconnected this tube right here. And this is pretty much ready to come up out of here. Probably just need to get these spark plug wires loose. And that's it. But that's where we're at so far. Then we're going to take off the upper intake manifold, and we can get to our valve covers and lower intake manifold. Okay, now what I've done is these are all 8mm right here. Done loosen these up. It's ready to come off. We're taking our intake manifold off. Disconnected all of our fuel injectors. Let's see. I've taken off the the alternator and the your idler pulley and your tensioner. This right here is a T50. Let's see what that was. Yeah, it's a T50 Torx bit. And this is 15. That's a 15, just in case you want to know. Next thing we're gonna do is take off our power steering pump. Take that valve cover all the way off. Once that power steering pump is off, taking out all of our spark plugs, and then once we get this valve cover off, we're ready to take this head off. We're gonna have to take off the exhaust manifold, get those bolts off right there, and then we'll do the same thing for the back side. Alright, here's the upper intake manifold. We got those off. Of course, these are all 13mm. The lower intake manifold, that is, let me get a light right quick. There it is. Right there. It's held in by these Torx bit fasteners, which are thermostat right there, ECT and stuff like that. Let me show you how to do that. Those fasteners are also T50s. Those are holding in the lower intake manifold gasket, which goes right in here. And you're gonna have to remove this right here. There's two 13mm bolts holding it in. There's one right here, and the other one is right here. Them two right there. Take those out. This will come off right here, and then you can pull your lower intake manifold gasket off. And they got all this sludge in there. It looks like they got some coolant in there mixing with look at all that buildup right there. All that buildup right there in that head. There's a bunch of crap in there. So definitely got to get these cleaned out. And let's see what this looks like. Not so bad over here. Not so bad on this side. But these are your rocker arms. These are the push rods up underneath them. and these are the valve springs right here, and inside them are the valve stems. They're held in there by keepers. But to get the heads off, we're gonna have to take some of these push rods off. And before I did that, also another thing, to get the lower intake manifold, there is your radiator hose. This is your upper radiator hose, and I just disconnected that from the thermostat. And then you have another hose right here on the back, this one right here, which was connected, one of your heater hoses going into the thermostat and your ECT and stuff like that. Alright, so next thing we're gonna do is start disconnecting the exhaust manifolds on both sides, and then we'll take out some of these push rods, and then take our heads off. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm taking off this 10mm fastener from the rocker arms, and then I'm just putting them down here, and I've labeled this is going to be the front head, and just put them in exactly the order that you're taking them off. So as I take them off, then I'll put it, I just punch some holes in here, because you want to put them back exactly the way that you took them off. So I got one box here for the front, and I got another box right here, and I'm going to do the same thing for the rear cylinder head. And then after that, all you got to do is take off these right here. I believe they're 13mm. Yeah, right here, and then also right here. There's one right there, one right here, one right here, and another one right there. Alright, so that's what we're going to do, and we'll do the same thing once I get all these off, the rocker arms and the push rods. Then we'll take the cylinder head off, then we'll do the same thing for the back side. Alright, so we got the first head off right here, and what I've done is taking these 10mm fasteners off, and these are the rocker arms, and these are the push rods, and I took them off and I put them in exactly the same order that I took them off, and I laid them out here. This is the front cylinder head, and this is the rear cylinder head. And now what I'm doing is just going along and taking out these head bolts. Got those. Alright, so now this head is ready to come off. Put this down. Just go ahead and take out all of these head bolts. And this one right here is let me see, I thought it was a little bit longer. All these in the bag. Head bolt bag. Alright. Now this head's ready to come off. You're gonna hear some coolant coming out of there. Just taking a pry bar and lifting up on it a little bit. Right about in here. Just lift on it with a pry bar. And there it is right there. Alright, go ahead and take that off. And here's the here's the front head right here. And here's that head gasket right here. That's what it looked like. If you're looking at these heads, it's really gunked up in there really bad. It's a lot of carbon deposits. You can tell coolant was getting this coolant jacket. But you can tell coolant was getting in there just by the rust and the color. I'm gonna send these heads off and have them resurface, get them flat. Alright, I'm going to take out this rear head. We're going to send these off to the machine shop, get them resurfaced, get some new head gaskets, and some new head bolts, and put it back together.